Nation of Fit in 10. It is day 67. And, one thing I didn't let you guys know, not that maybe you need to know this, but Fit in 10 will continue. Even after the gym is shut down, Fit in 10 is going to continue as normal. It's just going to be online. So, and all the weigh-ins will be virtual, which means every participant will get a physical scale. So just FYI on that, the Fit in 10 is not ending. It's not going anywhere. If anything, hopefully, I really, I don't like this. So I'll just say this, if anything, it will get only bigger. Okay, just unfortunately, at least for now, there will be no physical class setting for it. Only online classes or online videos. Okay, more feedback here as we head into the final couple days of the challenge. Just crazy, right? Always goes by super fast. Name something specific you can improve upon for the following week. This person writes, buying groceries. Okay, so I am assuming you don't have enough groceries. So you need to make sure you get to the grocery store, and maybe you need to make sure you keep tabs on food. I don't know, this is probably what a lot of people do. I do probably a monthly, I would say, big Costco shop, and then I do little shops in between for things like, all the fruits and vegetables, basically. Most of my fruits and vegetables. So I do a lot of Granny Smith apples, bananas, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and sauerkraut. So sauerkraut I usually get at Costco. Oh, and carrots, of course. So those are sort of my, I do berries, but I get those at Costco frozen. But when it comes to buying groceries, you should have an idea of what you are going to eat, leading the days up. So for example, for myself, I know, for example, how many containers of egg whites I have left. I know, what I have left for eggs. I know, for example, how much meat I have in my freezer, how much chicken I have, how much potato I have, how much oatmeal I have. I always keep tabs on this, and I usually, I've got a separate area in my house where I keep backups of stuff so I can see it. I can go downstairs, I can see how much nut butter I have left in terms of, jars or whatever. I always make sure I have a backup. Okay, I should say I usually make sure I have a backup. Maybe you don't have, maybe you don't have the room for it or the fridge space or whatever. But always try to stay on top of this. Don't let things run down to the very, very end. Just stock up if you can. Okay, at least with the foods that you can store. And one thing you can do, I don't know how much space you have at your current place, but you could even get a small fridge, an extra fridge. Like even those standing deep freezes or fridges, I think a lot of them can be freezers or fridges depending on how you set it. Even just a small one, you could stick in a spare bedroom, or if you have room in your kitchen or something, just for, extra fridge room. All right. Name something specific you need help with. Is there an app that you would recommend for strength training workouts? I don't have an app, to be honest with you. I'm old school. I just write it down. But you might be thinking this maybe more towards like what you should be doing or how you should program yourself, which is actually a very good, framework. Right? I think I told you guys there's a difference between working out and training. Working out is kind of like, and there's nothing wrong with it, by the way. Working out is just kind of going to the gym and working hard and pushing yourself and having a, quote, good workout. Whatever that means to you. Usually means just working hard. Pushing your body to the limit. When it comes to training, however, that's usually where we start to talk more in terms of goal setting. And when it comes to especially strength building, it's good to follow some sort of periodization type programming. You can't just push your body to the limit all the time and expect to get stronger. You have to periodize. You have to go through periods of, just like you do with your diet, in fact. You probably should do this for hypertrophy training as well. You have to go through periods where you push, and then periods where you lay off. Periods where you push and where you lay off. You cannot go pedal to the metal, whatever, low calories. You cannot go pedal to the metal, high intensity weight training all the time. Doesn't mean go light either. But apps can be really, really good for this, and unfortunately I don't know any because I just don't use them myself, but I can look into it for you, so let me do that. And I'll get back to you. What would you recommend for cardio/strength training per week, regardless of fitness goals? Like, what is the minimum amount of cardio strength training per week that you recommend? Minimum? Okay, this is as a bare minimum. As a bottom line minimum, I would say strength training twice per week. And we're talking minimums here. Minimum twice per week. Okay, you could do, like, for example, 2 full body, which is probably what I would do if I was only able to do 2. I'd probably do 2 full body, doing all the major movements. And then cardio wise, I think cardio. What is the recommended? It depends on where you live, I guess, in terms of what's government recommended. I don't really want to give government recommended, but I think it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 150 minutes of cardio per week. I don't know if this includes walking, though. I would try to get in at least a couple hours of cardio per week. All right, similar to what you guys are doing right now. We're on the lower end. I purposely do that because I just don't want to give you guys a whack load of exercise to do per week, which is why I only give you 4.5 hours per week. All right, which I think is very, very reasonable, right? But in terms of cardio, I would probably try to do, let's say, 3 45-minute sessions per week, or maybe three, 3 to 4 half an hour sessions. Let's say 3 to 4 30 to 45-minute sessions per week. I think that's reasonable. Okay, I guess if we're talking minimums, 3 times per week. Okay, twice is really not that much. Okay, 3 would be like every other day. It's very, very reasonable. Okay, again, we're talking minimums. Now, what would be ideal? Well, it depends on your goals. Depends on maybe where you are in your program. As a general rule, something that would be reasonable, probably something that you're following right now. Surprise, surprise, right? I would weight train as a reasonable measure, 3 days per week, and then cardiovascular work, 3 to 4 days per week. That would be reasonable, but that is, a fair amount. If you add in extra cardio, it starts to get up there a little bit more, of course, and it gets in the 5 hours per week, or maybe a little bit more than that. If you're super aggressive, then I would, recommend, if you want to see like a lot of change week to week, really good change, then you start to get into the 4 or 5 training sessions per week. If you're training more for strength, I probably wouldn't do more than 4. If you're training more for changing body composition, you could probably do 5. 4 is still decent. But 4 or 5 sessions of weight training per week, say about an hour. Okay, with a warm-up, maybe an hour and 15, an hour and a half. And then, with the cardio, again, depends on your goals, what you're trying to look for here. Again, if you're just really focused on strength, maybe not do any cardio, but of course I am thinking about your health, and I was thinking about it when we're talking about general recommendations. If we're talking about changing body composition, you want to see a lot of change, at least 3 times per week. Okay, for at least half an hour. But everything's relative as well. Okay, so it all depends on your intensity. It all depends on where you're coming from, what you've been doing prior, all these things. Okay, so again, with all your training, you want to undulate. You want to undulate your intensity. You maybe want to undulate your, so when I talk intensity, I'm really talking about how much you're pushing your body, essentially. So you want to really undulate that at the end of the day. Maybe you want to undulate your volume, okay, lower volume, higher volume, that type of thing, depending on your goals. So anyways, I said a lot there. So let's just come back to it. So minimum recommendations of weight training, twice per week. Minimum recommendations for cardio, three half an hour to 45-minute sessions per week. Okay, moderate to high intensity. If you really want to see good change, if you feel very motivated, well, shouldn't really say that. If you are very goal-oriented and you want to see a really good change, a lot of change week to week, strength training 4 times per week, cardio at least 3 times per week. Okay, this is where you're really going to start to see a lot of change week to week. Okay, especially if you're new or relatively new. Okay, already 11 minutes, really. Okay. I think I still have more feedback. Let me just check. I didn't even check to see what's new. I do have one more feedback. Okay, that's good. All right, message of the day. On this day, what did I say we are? We're 67. Hey, that's crazy. You are as happy as you allow yourself to be. No one else is in control of how you view the world and or your life for that matter. Your happiness is up to you. Your happiness is truly up to you. And again, it's just often perspective, right? And I talked about yesterday about journaling 10 things you are happy with, or happy for, or thankful for, I should say. Every morning when you wake up. Again, things like this, especially being thankful, looking at everything you have, changes your perspective. And quite often when we are down in the dumps, or when we think we have it bad, or when you maybe believe you're a victim, we need to really look at all the things we have. And on that note, I don't really have time. This video's I will tell you about, for those of you who don't know, I will tell you a little bit about Martina's background, because it's very interesting, and it goes into being thankful. So I'm going to stop there. Positive energy, positive vibes, believe in yourself for the love of God, give some gratitude. I'll talk to you a little bit more about Martina's background tomorrow, I think, tomorrow's video. Okay, see you guys.